All right. So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for more than test prep using SAT and ACT to support student and your school outcomes. I'm Bruce from Tutored by Teachers, and I'm excited to explore how SAT and ACT can be used for more than just tests. They can actually be tools for equity. Somebody mentioned earlier, confidence and readiness. Today, I'm joined by an incredible group. We have Dwight Hossain, Chief Schools Officer at Legacy Early College in Greenville, South Carolina. Dr. Travoski Smith, Assistant Principal at Cambridge High School and Metro Nashville Public Schools in Tennessee. And Annie, I'm sorry, I said Annie Johansson, our Head of Operations here at Tutored by Teachers. In today's session, we'll share stories from our partners, Dwight and Travoski. We work with them at their sites and also explore different strategies to help connect test prep with long-term academic success. So a lot will be happening over the next 40 or so minutes. So with that, let's jump straight into it. So our agenda for today, we'll start by setting the stage why this conversation matters now. Then you'll hear from our interactive panel, school leaders, district leaders as well, and we'll spotlight their successes and show real results. And just wrap away with some key takeaways and some next steps as well. All right. But just a little bit about us. At Tutored by Teachers, we're deeply committed to driving real outcomes. For us, it's not just about higher scores, but stronger skills that prepare students for what's next. Our SAT and ACT programs follow the same evidence based principles that guide all of our academic supports. So no matter no matter what kind of support we provide you all, we want to make sure that that everything just it reigns true across all platforms. We're live with live synchronous tutoring with certified and experienced teachers who know how to meet students where they are and help them grow. We believe that when students have consistent, high quality instruction, test prep becomes more than just memorization or tricks and tips, but it becomes actual mastery. It can go beyond you know just that test score. For us, we believe that our strength comes from our teacher community. We have, I think, now at this point, it's more than 7,000 certified teachers in our community, 62% of which have graduate degrees, and 52% are certified in SPED and English language learners. They bring an average of 12 years of classroom experience, and we're proud of that. 40% of our teachers identify as people of color, double that of the national average. And each tutor is rigorously vetted, trained, and supported to deliver, instruction, impact on day one. And that's just a little bit about us, but we want to get back into what we're talking about today, and SAT and ACT. And we want to just hear from you all. When you hear SAT or ACT prep, what comes to mind? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the chat, or if you like, you can come off the mic and you can share your thoughts. Just a pain with a smiley face. I think more than one person can agree with that. What else do we have? A pain, yes. And Travasky and Dwight, y'all can chime in as well. Even tell us just even from your experience when SAT first don't come to mind. What do you got?
First thing that comes to mind, well, probably not now, but pressure.
Pressure. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Can be a bit of a puzzle finding the time.
Mm, puzzle. Puzzling. And trying to find the time. Yeah. I like that. And I think, for us, SAT, SAT can mean so much. And at Tutor by Teachers, we hear all the different pain points of SAT, SAT prep, how difficult it'd be, how puzzling it'd be, how trying it could be, how much of a pain it can be. But we also found that it can be something much more. It's a way to build confidence, reinforce those core academic skills, and also open up doors to scholarships and grants and all kind of other funding in addition to college access, and also, helping schools, especially those who, you know, rely on those kind of data points for their school performance. Like SAT can be that. Um, and that's why a few weeks ago, we put this poll online on LinkedIn, and we asked folks, why do SAT and SAT scores matter the most for your school or district? And we got some, 4 responses. These 3 people kind of like, lean most towards, and this is what people said. The one biggest takeaway is that scholarships or financial aid means so much, but also that also doesn't negate the fact that people are really focused on graduation and admission rates and school performance scores. So these things, SAT, ACT, like when you have to think about these 3 different areas, of course that additional stress can lead to pain. It can lead to having that puzzling feeling, and I think that's why we're here today. um so to keep going, so we can get to our discussion, just talk about our outcomes. By the end of this session, you'll have strategic, SAT and ACT prep that can help improve college and scholarship readiness, build student confidence, and support school accountability measures. And do all this while not trying to put too much on your plate or the plate of your teachers as well. And specifically for us, we talk about doing this using high dosage tutoring. We found it to be the most effective and also the easiest for a lot of people. So that's what we'll do by the end of this session. And now we're going to start transitioning into our interactive panel. But before we do that, I just want to go over like some expectations from our panel. At TBT, we want our lunch and learns, and all of our webinars to feel interactive and practical, and not just be another sit and get session. So throughout today's panel, you'll have a chance to join the conversation through polls and also in the chat. And we love to hear, we love to for you to share your insights, because the more perspectives we have, the more we'll learn and grow together. And on another note, whenever our panelists start talking, I'll stop sharing the screen, so that way we can focus on the panelists, and you don't just see like the words of the screen. Okay, so just to tell you people that, so you're not getting whiplash, from being shared and not being shared. And with that, I'll now kick it over to Annie to get our conversation going.
Great. So hi all, I'm excited to be here with you and with our 2 panelists who bring such a wealth of expertise. So first we have Dwight Hosang. He's the Chief School Officer at Legacy Early College in Greenville, South Carolina. He has 23 years of experience and has led schools recognized among the top in the state for academic growth. He's known for his unwavering commitment to equity and for creating strong partnerships that make college readiness a reality for every student. I don't know, Dwight, if you want to say hi to everyone.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm looking forward to it.
We're so excited to have you. And then we have Dr. Travoski Smith. She is joining us from Cane Ridge High School in Nashville, Tennessee. She's an assistant principal and a dynamic instructional leader. Her passion for student growth shines through everything she does, from developing teachers to empowering students academically, socially, and even athletically to reach their full potential. Dr. Smith, you want to say hi?
Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, and so appreciate both of you being here today. Thank you. So now we're going to jump into the questions. I don't know if, okay. So before kind of we really get into it, we want to hear from you guys. So it should be on your screen in a poll. How does your school approach SAT and ACT prep? So just take a few moments to respond. I'll give people a chance, and then we'll kind of look at what we have here. Wow, that's really awesome. See a lot of just standalone classes integrated into instruction. All right. So with that, Dwight and Dr. Smith, how has your school or district shifted the way you think about the SAT or ACT? I think, from seeing them as just test scores to viewing them as part of your broader goals for graduation, college readiness, and school performance.
It's shifted the way that our district thinks about it. First of all, now for Metro Nashville Public Schools, it is a graduation requirement. So beforehand, it was just an option if you wanted to take the ACT, if you were thinking about going to college or not. It is also now a big part of our, what we call it CCR, College Career Readiness here. And that's actually the time frame that our students take the ACT prep by TBT during the CCR carved out time twice a week during the day. I will say that making it a graduation requirement is a positive instead of just being a checklist and, oh, that's just one more thing that you have to do, because people are taking it more serious. And from the chat at the beginning that Bruce put in, it does provide a rigorous instruction better than it has before. It does make our students more well-rounded. It's a lot more positives making it a graduation requirement than just like what everybody voted for most of, standalone test prep class. I just think that it's an overall more positive thing for instruction and our student success, not only with college, but if they want to go to work after high school, secondary school as well.
Yeah, I would say at Legacy Early. So at Legacy Early College, it's in the name. We focus on college prep, and the way we approach that is actually through dual enrollment. So we don't offer any AP classes. We partner with 2 local universities so that our kids can earn their associates by the time they graduate. So we have a few doing that. But we have shifted a bit on how we are looking at ACT and SAT. In terms of our preparation and readiness, I chose integrated into instruction because that's actually new for us. I remember when I first got here, we were talking about how we should approach getting our scholars ready for the ACT, and we had a lot of back and forth with the high school principal around like the importance of prep. And I think it's our kids who are taking more dual enrollment courses, we're seeing higher scores, and we want to make sure that we're preparing kids for, not only for success in the classroom, but just to be critical thinkers and, positive people in the world. And what we've done a lot of work to try to integrate our actual ACT standards into our regular classroom instruction. And on top of that, we do have, partners like Tutored by teachers to help with actual prep, because there's also a benefit to that as well. And our scholars not all of them have the resources to access that prep. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Our next question is something we get all the time. We hear it, we see it, that the SAT can feel out of reach for students. It's seen as something that's only accessible to those who can afford private tutoring, and too often it's focused just on quick kind of learning tricks instead of real learning. So I would love both of your thoughts on how can SAT and ACT become a tool for equity, one that helps all students strengthen core skills, not just test-taking strategies.
I'll let you go first this time, Dwight.
I got you. So, we actually have, so right now we have some ACT scores coming in for our seniors who wanted to take it one last time, and some are just so motivated they want to take it one more time before they submit all of their college applications. And, when it comes to something like this, a lot of our kids experience a lot of anxiety around the assessment. They don't really, if they can even achieve on the test. And what we've done here, like we've used it as a culture builder as well, so that they can understand that they can actually compete. We have some kids who grew like 10, 15 points. It's kind of ridiculous, and exciting as well. So I think once they see that they can actually apply what they've learned in school, apply what we've taught them through test prep, and see a bit of success, even if it's not the absolute score that they were striving for, but see that they can move, it encourages them to take more risks and really approach their academics and also just their life in general with a little more seriousness, and understand that if you put the effort behind a particular goal and set a tangible goal, that you can actually reach it. And I think that's super important as we send our kids off into college in the world.
So last year was our first year with this program with our juniors. And like Dwight just said, our seniors just took it for those who want to take it for the very last time. So these scores that the seniors get will actually reflect on the program, which the juniors can see as motivation for when they take it this year. And it's equitable for us because we have every single junior at this school is taking the TBT prep course during the CCR course that I talked about. So no matter if you have the funds for it, it's not after school, it's during school. It's very equitable for all of our juniors to take it. So every single senior that has taken the ACT, unless they're new to our school this year, has taken this program. So we also do incentives. So for the kids to log on, hey, if everybody has logged on 100% this week, you get pizza for the week, or, just a different friendly competition for everybody. Because, for some it's more motivating. For some, they don't really care too much to take the ACT, but we just try to think of more creative, unique, fun ways for everybody to be excited about it. And we definitely have positive interactions with our teachers to be like, look, your perspective on this program or the ACT is going to definitely bleed on to how the kids think about it and how they look at it. So we really, really try to have positive interactions with our teachers about, hey, you got to be pumped up about it. You got to speak good things about it, because if you are nonchalant about it, of course, the kids are going to be the same way. So that we really try to push that positive interaction between the teachers and the students about the ACT and at the actual program.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So before we get into the next question, I'd love to take another quick audience poll. It should be popping up on your screen shortly. Where do you see the biggest opportunity to integrate SAT or ACT prep? All right. So now I'll move in. Dwight and Travoski, we often talk about academic preparation for the SAT and the ACT, content, skills, strategy, but test success also depends on confidence and familiarity. What are some ways your school helps students get comfortable with the test format and pacing?
So ours is actually through this program. So it's interesting because today I'm over all the scholars programs here. So whether it be ACT prep, any kind of prep that you can think about, I'm over the programs. But we used to have one that was on Saturdays, but we've learned that over the years for high school students, I don't know about the middle and elementary tiers, it's really hard to get students to want to participate in anything enrichment, or for that sake, if they're even making up a credit or a grade on the weekends or after school. And so we found that the best time to do that is during the school day. Now, I know, Dwight, that you talked about y'all are early college school all around. We have an early college program, but it's only set for a certain amount of students. And of course, those students, you don't have to motivate them. They're already motivated. So like I said earlier with my other answer, we just have to be creative with like the incentives, not bribing, but incentives for the students and teachers. And just the best way to do that is to find some time during the week. Doesn't have to be every day. A set time, maybe 2 or 3 times out of the week for that extra enrichment for the ACT. And that's what seemed to be most successful for us here.
So this is a little aspirational because some of these things I'm going to share are on the docket for this year, just haven't happened yet. So we try to think about a really holistic approach to this. So other than Tutored by Teachers, we work with an organization called Gold Diggers, and she provides some in-person tutorial as well for our scholars. And then I also mentioned that we're integrating ACT standards into our scope and sequences in our classes. But in terms of getting ready for like the pace and the familiarity with the assessment, we are doing a couple of things. So first, there's something called Test Prep Wizard. So Test Prep Wizard, you can get a mock test and it'll be graded for you. It's very inexpensive, like $5 a test. So what we've decided to do, and their testing is going to start actually next month, which is like in a couple of days. Our 9th graders will take a mock Test Prep Wizard on the ELA portion. Our 10th graders will take that for 10th grade. We'll take math for 10th grade, and then 11th grade. They'll get the required national test that we give every first semester of their 11th grade year, but they'll also get the Test Prep Wizard. So we want to give them just as many at bats as possible. And they also take the pre-ACT, and they take the national test, and then we require them to take it again in the spring. So we require them to take it at least twice, but we're adding the Test Prep Wizard to give them more at bats. And then we're going to use the Test Prep Wizard to inform something that we do in class and also during our advisory periods. There's a program called U-World that we're also going to implement that they specialize in various standardized test prep. Test prep is on different test prep for different standardized tests. So with our focus on ACT, we can use their assessments, their mock tests, their practice questions in advisory, and it gives the kids immediate feedback. So we're going to implement that twice a week in the advisory period. So we just see it as time for at bats and getting on pace. And then we're also seeing that our our math scores are lagging behind our ELA behind our ELA scores. So there's a lot of math conversations happening right now.
And I meant to mention this too. We do something about mastery prep, which is free. And like Dwight said, sorry, that's our bill. It gives you the automatic scores. We even have our ninth, 10th take the pre, and then 11th take the practice actual ACT. It gives you the automatic scores. It's free. I don't know how much the district pays for it, but we don't have to have any out of school costs for it. So that's why we get to have the entire school take it. We have almost about 2,000 students here. That like you said, that seems to get us like a starting point of where we're at, which of the preps need more attention than others and things like that. The program is actually called Mastery Prep.
Thank you for repeating that. I was going to ask you to say it again. I wrote it down.
Well, thank you guys.
Send me a couple licenses from your district. We're friends now.
You just sneak in under Cane Ridge. That's
Will
how
do.
it works. Right? So last question, right? High dosage tutoring can take a lot of coordination and planning to keep it consistent and effective. Dwight and Travoski, how has partnering with Tutored by Teachers, aka TBT, helped you make that work sustainable over time?
It's real easy for me. Y'all just made everything seem. I mean, it was just very easy to work with y'all. The reporting, the check-ins, the quality of instructors. I mean, you were, and I don't know why I did this because I knew you all before. I don't know why I didn't reach out, but we use another virtual program and it just did not work for our kids. And then when we switched, one, you're flexible. So in terms of, I know that an hour is recommended, but if we have 45 minutes, it'll work. We're able to put it in the day, which gets to what Travoski was talking about in terms of removing the barriers to access for test prep, doing it after school and on the weekends. It just doesn't work for high school kids. So, I mean, it was just easy, sustainable. The kids were engaged. And that's the other thing too, because the kids are engaged and they show up yes, we do our own incentives and we expect kids to show up and we want to motivate them to show up, but it wasn't hard to implement, or we didn't have to force kids to go. They were pretty motivated and connected with the tutors that were provided for them. So appreciate it.
I would agree with Dwight. It makes my load so much better. I don't know if y'all have ever worked in a high school as an administrator, but your list is ongoing and you never get everything checked off. So, I mean, as simple as turning in rosters. They split up the kids for you to match with the tutors. You don't have to do any of that. It's very flexible. All I have to do is log into the dashboard. I can see which teachers have the least amount of kids logging on each day for the attendance, which kid hasn't logged in at all, or which kid is being more interactive with the tutors. I mean, you can see everything. Like, they literally do it for you. I just have to go in and make sure that I'm holding my teachers accountable for making sure that the students are logged on. Now, Dwight in my school is, maybe the dynamics are very different because you're in early college school. So we do have a little problems with the motivating part. However, like I said, we try to have a lot of positive interactions with our teachers so that it's easier for the kids to log on. But the weight load is, I mean, TBT does majority of it. Makes it so much better for me to be able to focus on not just ACT prep TBT, but my entire workload as a high school as a whole in general. Just piece of cake. I love it. I'm glad we're doing it again this year.
So glad to hear. Are there any specific supports or systems that you guys have built or leveraged that have made it easier for you to do tutoring at scale or to do tutoring at all?
Well, with this program, I tried to choose, so we piloted last year. So I try to choose the same teachers for that CCR period because they've already they know the program, they know how to do it. Of course, I can't get every single teacher. We're gonna have new teachers that are here, but like today was the first day that we launched the ACT one. We had to wait until we actually took the regular one for some other reasons. But it was so smooth. The teachers were on board. I mean, it was just easier because they had done it before. Not saying that the ones that it was their first time doing it, it wasn't easy for them because it is very simple. It's not very rigorous to get the teachers on board to, hey, tell the kids to do this and do that. But other than that, not really.
Well, yeah. So last year when we did it, we did it on Fridays, which actually wasn't the best choice because kids were being pulled from some of their classes on Fridays to do it. The teachers that we got some feedback from teachers, but we do have an existing structure with our advisory periods, which doesn't give us as much time to do it because it's only 45 minutes instead of an hour. But doing it in our advisory blocks, one, we can get more sessions in, and then it's a structure that already exists, so we can just have the kids in the advisory split up into groups around the room and log in.
Thank you both for sharing your insights, experiences, and expertise. I know it's inspiring to hear how schools are rethinking this preparation, just not as test prep, but as, again, that pathway to equity and long-term student success. So now that we've heard the why, we're going to take a closer look at the how. I'm going to turn it back over to Bruce, who's going to walk us through 2 partner spotlights, showcasing how the strategies came to life at both of these schools, so Cambridge and Legacy Early College.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dwight and Travoski, for sharing your insights and your experience. It's always inspiring to hear like how schools are rethinking ACT and SAT prep, and especially when we're able to work so closely with you all. And even a huge shout out to Dwight for stealing some of the ideas from Chabowski. So hey, that's why we created this space. Take ideas and run and make it make it your own. But now that we've heard the why, now we're gonna jump into the how. And with that, let's just focus on our first spotlight, Cambridge High School and Metro Nashville Public Schools. On the screen, you can see some data, some quick data from them. But speaking more like in depth and detail, we partnered with Dr. Smith and her team to support 11th grade students through a focused 8-week SAT prep program. It was about 90 minutes each week for students, and it was targeted high-dosage tutoring. Dr. Smith, yeah, your team has been doing incredible work. Would you share a little bit about what you've seen so far, in both in terms of student growth, and how this has supported your school's broader goals for college readiness?
Uh, just from this program alone from last year, I can see the motivation in students has grown in a tremendous way. It's a competition, but a friendly competition. And I know that last year we only did 8 weeks because we were new to the program. We didn't start until the spring semester. We were actually starting this semester all the way until, when they take it again, the real deal in March, which is very inspiring because if they did that well just within the 8-week time that we did last school year, we're very excited to see where we can take these scores this year from starting all the way October until March of the spring semester. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's. I think we hear that quite often. Like people are like, more time. We need more time. And it's true. With high dosage tutoring, we always tell people like the more time that you can carve out and the earlier you can get students tutoring, the better the results. But thank you, Travoski. It's powerful to hear that, and that the work that you all doing is having an immediate impact. But now I want to jump over and we can talk with Dwight about some of the things that are happening at Legacy Early College. We partnered with Dwight and his team to design a program that supported about 60 students for all the topics with SAT. I think it was about 11 and a half hours of targeted instruction total with the students. But Dwight, I'd love for you to share just what that looked like on the ground, and also any changes that you've seen in students or even teachers since implementing this approach, and how supported you all's goals as well?
Yeah, so we definitely saw, as you can see, some really good growth last year. So last year that was all seniors. It was like their final push. Um, before, well, it was seniors. Yeah, we wanted to just get another score in, and then we had a couple of juniors in there as well. So it was a mixed group. And like Travoski, we've had this year a lot more motivation around the test. You can tell. I mean, there's conversations. There's a little competition within the amongst the kids, and they're setting their own goals around it. Um, we had kids that we thought, we had a kid move from single digits to almost 20. And he was just really excited and motivated by that and wants to take it again. So and then also I will say that the teacher feedback was very strong as well. I mean, the person who's responsible for coordinating all of the the logistics around getting kids assigned and getting them in and getting the reports from you all and speaking with you all, way better positive feedback. And like I said, the kids also just enjoyed being on there. We had a pretty high attendance rate as well. I know it's not on there, but we had like over almost 85% attendance rate for the tutorial. So it's definitely made an impact for sure.
Single digits to 20 points. That's not nothing. We'll say. That's very significant. Wow. That's so good. Wow. Thanks, Dwight. And that's like super inspiring, and it just makes of course, like high-dosage tutor, it's great, but also just thinking about what that huge jump in a score can mean for a student. Um, and wow, we're already almost at time. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you, everybody, with a few uh, things to just kind of reflect on. And you ask yourself, how can SAT and ACT prep serve as a lever for broader instructional impact? And where might high dosage tutoring fit within your current support systems? So the two big takeaways are SAT and SAT prep is, it's bigger than just, trying to get a good score. It can mean so much, from, Travoski mentioned, district-wide, statewide, it may be a requirement, that goes into, your school performance score. Or, for, both Dwight and Travoski mentioned just it being like that motivation factor for students, especially as they prepare for college. And then, for tutored by teachers, we want to make sure that we, have, a data-driven, research-backed approach that helps get students the results that they actually need at the end of the day. And with that, we love to keep this conversation going. So on the screen, you'll see a QR code, and also you'll see the link to our website. So connect with us at tutor.live, and we can reach out and talk to you about how high dosage tutoring can help your students prepare for the SAT or ACT. And additionally, after today's session, I'll be sending the recording with session materials, which will include a SAT, ACT prep, kind of like infographic with just some of the structures that we talked about here, some strategies and tips that you all can use, like right away the next day. And then you'll also, I'll tag somebody from our team in the give their email address if you want to, continue the conversation and see how we can bring TBT to you. But I would just want to give a huge thank you to Dwight and Travoski and Annie for sharing their time with us and providing just you all's expertise. And Dwight, Travoski, I'll let you all have the final word. Anything else that you want to say to anybody?
Um, I don't mind anybody reaching out to me if they want to know the more in depth of ins and out protocols and the logistic part about the program. I don't mind at all if you shared my email address with them.
Oh, perfect. For sure.
Same, and the TBT team is awesome. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm gonna take that clip and I'm gonna put it on social media and tag you. Thank you all again. I think I sent everybody their lunch. If you didn't, just email me everybody should have my email. But thanks again, you all, and we'll see you next time for our next webinar. Take care.